Seriously, at this time? It's midnight. You said sitting down while he kissed on your forehead and looked at you. I'll be back in a few hours, love. I'm sorry. You sighed, showing the frustration because his work needs his attention more than you. Ryan, don't be sad, love. You looked at him. I understand, Jungkook, but sometimes it feels like your work needs you more than I do. Jungkook took your hand in his before looking at you apologetically. He too feels bad when he doesn't get time to spend with you, but his work is something that if he ignores it, it can cost him his whole life. I know it seems that way and I hate leaving you like this, but I promise I'll make it up to you. This is something I have to handle personally. You looked in his eyes, the conflict within them. Despite of this dangerous life, he always tried to be there for you and you see his efforts. That is why you are always there for him, standing by his side to give him strength. Okay, but be careful. Don't you dare to come home injured or tired. I swear I'll kick you out of the house. He chuckled and kissed your cheek before looking at you. Okay, boss, I will be back in no time. Sleep well, okay? He again kissed your forehead and got up before wearing his shirt. He grabbed his jacket and headed towards the door, but then suddenly stopped and looked at you. I love you, Ryan. Your heart melted as you flashed him a soft smile. I love you too, my dear husband. He then left while your smile slowly faded. You felt a sting of loneliness and concern. Yes, it's true that you are proud to be his wife. You love him despite knowing that he is a mafia. But sometimes you really feel concerned about him. Sometimes you want to know what exactly he does. You have never seen him doing anything cruel in front of you. He's always loving, caring, and overall a sweet guy, but you know there's another side of him too. There is one thing that always makes you curious, bothers you because you want to know what secrets are hidden there. The basement that you just come to know about a few days ago. It is always locked, but you have seen Jungkook going there often. Sometimes his mood changes into something horrible coming out of it. You have so many questions in your mind, like is there anyone he had kept hidden or maybe is mafia stuff happening there? Your curiosity got the better of you. You decided to follow him, wanting to understand more about his secretive world. I'm sorry, Jungkook, but I can't keep up with this constant nagging in my mind. You slipped into your shoes and wore your cardigan before walking out of the room, following Jungkook by keeping a safe distance. You saw him heading towards the basement with a sense of urgency. Not to lie, you were a little scared, not because what he would do if he caught you or get to know that you followed him, but because you might be sad or hurt that you followed him, maybe because you don't trust him. You waited on the stairs until he disappeared inside the basement, and after a few minutes, you decided to make your move. You crept down the stairs as quietly as you can while holding your breath and stood in front of the basement door. I'm not doubting him, neither my love will go any weak. This is just to burn my curiosity. I'm sorry, Jungkook, you whispered in a very low voice. As you entered inside the dimly lit room, you were too stunned to see that there is a part of this house that looks like this and it's hidden from you for all those years. It looks like a hidden training center. There was a boxing rings, ropes, other stuff that gave you chills. It was dark and you were already feeling scared. You can hear Jungkook's footsteps as he was walking around in the dimly lit room. You hid yourself behind a pillar. The walls were grey and old. This area of the house is really very unwelcoming. and looks like a secret base for any mission, just how you have seen in movies. Shelves were lined one side filled with various boxes and items you couldn't really see clearly because of the dim light. There was a large metal table in the center of the room, cluttered with papers, tools, and mysterious objects. It really gives a little creepy vibes. You could see Jungkook at the far end of the basement near a hidden safe built into the wall. He was focused on taking something out, a thick folder and a small locked box. His movements were quick and efficient, clearly familiar with the space. You didn't find anything that you were thinking about. Despite all the clutter, there was a sense of order and purpose to this room. Everything has its place, and it was clear that it's a workplace for serious business. You watched Jungkook, he was checking the file with full focus and intensity. After a few minutes, he put everything back in the safe, locking it securely. He turned off the light, casting the room into near darkness. You tried to stay as quiet as possible, but your heart was pounding in your chest. You watched as he walked away, his footsteps echoing. He reached the door and closed it behind him with a click. As you heard the sound of the door locked, it sent chills down your spine. No, don't close the door. You rushed near the door, but it was too late. Jungkook was gone and you were locked in this dark room. You were already afraid of the darkness. You banged on the door with all the energy that you have. You shouted, banging on the door loudly, but it seems to be of no use. You started to panic because you're afraid of darkness, and this place is already creepy enough to give you goosebumps. You kept on banging on the door and started to cry, but the walls absorbed all the sound because the thick walls were soundproof. You slid down on your knees and started crying, the darkness making your breath short. It was haunting you and you were regretting coming here. You didn't even bring your phone, so there's no way to communicate with him. You got up and searched for any telephone or something that you can get in contact with Jungkook, but there was nothing. Your panic rose each second. The cold began to seep into your bones and your energy dying slowly. You hate the dark. It makes you feel helpless and trapped. The air was thick and misty and it started to make it hard for you to breathe. You continued your search, banged the door so many times, but it was of no use. Every second feels heavy to you. Your imagination was getting wild because of fear. You started to imagine creepy figures around you and now you were on the verge of losing yourself. Jungkook, please come back. You whispered and sat on the floor hugging your knees. You buried your face in between your knees trying to not see anything. Your heart was thumping inside your chest and you were slowly losing your control over yourself. Every minute felt like eternity. Your head started to spin because of the lack of fresh air and your rising panic. Eventually, exhaustion overcame you. Your body grew weak and your eyelids felt heavy. You fought to stay awake, but the cold, the darkness, and the fear were too much. Slowly, you lost consciousness, collapsing onto the hard, unforgiving floor. After a few hours, Jungkook came back in the room after dealing with the work he left for. He was tired but relieved that finally it was over and now he can spend time with you. He promised himself to give you his whole day. He expected to find you in the bedroom, maybe asleep or waiting for him, but when he walked in, the room was empty. Ryan, he called your name but there was no answer. He checked the bed, the closet and even the bathroom. You were nowhere to be found. He got a little worried because it was still dark and where can you even go? He again called your name louder but got no response in return. He left the room to check the other places. The kitchen was silent with no sign of you. He quickly checked the living room hoping you'd be there watching TV or reading a book, but the living room was empty too, the only sound being the faint ticking of the clock. Jungkook's heart started to race. He called her name again, louder and more urgently. Ryan, where are you? His mind raced, trying to think of where you could be. He felt a deep sense of panic beginning to rise. He took out his phone and dialed your number, but he heard the ring from the room. Your phone was on the nightstand. Where are you, love? He took a deep breath, trying to calm himself, but then he remembered that there was one place he hadn't checked yet, and that is the basement. The realization hit him hard. He hurried towards the basement door, hoping and praying you were safe. Jungkook rushed to the basement door. His heart was pounding with fear and worry. He fumbled with the key but finally managed to unlock the door. He left it wide open before rushing inside. Ryan, he called your name hoping to get an answer from you. His voice echoed in the silent space. He scanned the room quickly, adjusting his eyes to the low light before they finally find you. You were lying on the cold, hard floor near the far end of the basement, your body curled up into motionless. Jungkook's heart sank. He rushed towards you before dropping to his knees beside you. Ryan, oh my god, please wake up. He pleaded, his hand shaking as he gently shook you. Your skin was cold and you were unresponsive. He could see the faint rise and fall of your chest, indicating you were breathing but you were unconscious. Tears filled in his eyes as he carefully lifted you into his arms. I'm so sorry, love. I didn't know you were here. He whispered, his voice breaking with guilt and fear. He quickly lifted you up and shouted while walking outside the basement. Call the doctor immediately. He shouted and his bodyguards immediately understood the assignment. Jungkook brought you upstairs in the room. Jungkook made you lay down on the bed carefully. His eyes were filled with tears and he was so vulnerable at this moment seeing your condition. I'm sorry, love. Jungkook loves you more than anything in this world. You are his one and only family. He does everything in his power to protect you and keep you happy. He is ready to sacrifice anything just to see you happy, and if anything makes you upset or when you get hurt, it hurts him more than anything. He is afraid to lose you. Within 5 minutes, the doctor came. He approached you immediately, checking your pulses and breathing. He examined your pupils with a small flashlight, then began a thorough checkup. Jungkook was there watching everything carefully while holding your hand for the whole time. What happened to her? He asked, not able to control himself. The doctor looked at him and spoke after a few tense minutes. She's dehydrated and exhausted, but she'll be okay. She needs rest, warmth, and fluids. Jungkook sighed in relief, though the guilt will still weigh heavily on him. Thank you, doctor. I didn't know she was in the basement. I accidentally locked her in. The doctor gave a sympathetic nod because that's all he could do in front of such a big mafia. It's important she stay warm and hydrated. I'll leave some medications to help with the recovery. Make sure she drinks plenty of water and gets some rest. Thank you. The doctor left after that while Jungkook turned towards you. He kissed your hand that he was holding and caressed your hair. He was watching over you with a mix of guilt and relief. Hours passed and the first light of dawn began to filter through the curtains. Jungkook's eyes were red from lack of sleep and worry, but he never left your side. As the morning light grew stronger, you began to stir. Jungkook noticed immediately, leaning closer. His heart was beating fast. Ryan, can you hear me? He asked softly and his voice was full of concern. You slowly opened your eyes and blinked against the light to adjust your vision. Your body felt heavy and you Your head throbbed, but the familiar sight of Jungkook's face brought a sense of comfort. Jungkook, you whispered, your voice hoarse and weak. I'm here, love. I'm right here. How are you feeling? He said, kissing your hand. You took a moment to gather yourself, the memories from the basement flashing back in front of your eyes. I was so scared. It was so dark and I couldn't get out. He said, bringing tears in your eyes. I'm so sorry. I didn't know that you were there, but what were you doing there? You hesitated, feeling a mix of guilt and embarrassment. I followed you. I wanted to know what you were hiding in the basement. I just wanted to understand more about your world. I'm so sorry. Jungkook sighed. He could understand your curiosity and he can't be mad at you because you did it out of curiosity. Ryan, I keep those things hidden to protect you. My world is dangerous and I don't want you to get hurt. I know and I'm sorry for following you. But I want to be a part of your life, all of it. I can't help but worry when you are always keeping secrets. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. I understand. I don't want you to feel left or scared. I promise I'll be more open with you. We'll face everything together. He managed a weak smile. Thank you, Jungkook. I just want to feel like we are in this together. He leaned down and kissed her forehead. I love you, Ryan, more than anything. I love you too. And I'm sorry for that. Believe me, I trust you. It was just out of curiosity. Smiled softly and nodded. I know. Now I'll go and cook a delicious breakfast for you. I'm taking care of you the entire day today and you have to listen to me, understand? He chuckled and nodded. Nothing can be more romantic than my husband taking care of me the whole day and giving me princess treatment. I'm ready. You are my queen, but today you'll definitely getting a princess treatment. Both chuckled while he kissed you once again before leaving the room to make breakfast for you. You smiled and closed your eyes, feeling better now. Thank you for always being a gentleman. I don't know what I have done to get you in my life, but I'm grateful to the God for choosing you for me.